Starting where we left off in the last video, we are now starting to connect up all these loops here and also starting to do a lot of refinement. We are going to be adding loops around here or filling this into these loops. We're going to be filling in this and the majority of the face in this video, and of course blocking in the eyes. So we are starting off with this area right here. So hit the F key and then you can easily block this in like so. It's more in the center. And we can add a loop in the middle, Control R, and then we can just add a loop right in the center like so. And then we can hit F here and F once again. And all this should also match up perfectly because we were very methodical about how we put them down. So if we hit here, select this edge here, we can just hold down the F key. It's just going to keep on doing it. You don't have to keep pressing it all the time. Like in this case, there are like 4 presses. Sometimes you have like 10 presses. So it's just a bit easier. And now you can see this face is just starting to come together just a little bit. Then we're going to start refining the nose just a little bit as well. Get in here and just start to get the shape of a little bit better on this. Just refine it up like so. And then I'm going to be selecting this and hitting the F key. We can add another loop here as well, so it fits nicely with the nostril. Select these two, using my hotkey Shift X to combine these two. Just trying to make this more in the center. Select the edge, hit double G. We can just keep using the G key to fill this in. And then we can hit the F and we can fill this in as well, like so. Hit Control R to add a loop here. Now we can just hit double F. Then we can start to extrude this out here like so, and then we can merge these two together like here. So we can select these two. Actually, let's do bottom here first. These two, Control Shift X, these two and Shift X. And then we are just slowly starting to build the inside of the nose. We can always do that a bit later. I just want to be a little bit cleaner than it was now. So we can select this key and this vert and hit the F key. It's almost funny how much you use the same tools. That's exactly what we mean when we're saying that you should learn just a few tools and really learn them well. A retop is not about being super fancy. It's just about being on top of a very select few tools. So the F key. And we're not going to care too much about the inside of the nose because, you know, it's inside of the nose. But it's just important that it's an okay spot. Select these two, Shift X, and then we can do it here. Okay, cool. Let's start to connect this up here as well. So here we obviously need way more resolution here. So we need to add more loops here. Select like this. And then we can actually delete this entire loop here. So hit just Control X to delete it, just so there are less loops to connect up. And we can add another loop here as well. And we can move this guy down a little bit like so. Just so we have a bit more to play with. And then we can also delete this guy here as well. I do this a lot just so it comes to connecting it up. And then we can refine it a little bit. And then we can add another loop in the middle. Obviously we need more loops like this. It's just about making them nice. So if you're following along now and you're trying to do it in my pace here, if you're new to retopology, particularly new to retopology in Blender, it might be a good idea to just step back and just pause the video occasionally, because I am working faster than I normally would here because it's a video, and I would have probably spent about twice as much time already on a retop, but just make sure everything is clean. Now don't get me wrong, we're still in a good spot here, but don't rush it. Don't focus on speed. Try to focus on quality here. Then we hit Control R and add the loop here. What you can also do in these cases where it's hard to see what's actually going on, we can go under the material, go all the way down to bottom and display material, viewport display, and we can set it down. So now we can actually see what's going on, because a lot of times it's really important to see the underlying surface. For instance, when we do nasolabial fold here, it's really important that you can actually see what's going on. So let's just work a little bit with this on. This we can start to get some of the contours off the face. Okay, and then I'll set the alpha back to 100, just so I can more easily actually see what's going on with the topology. In this case here, I'm just going to take this loop all the way inside his nostril. That's just nice and clean. So we can do it like so. So select this vert and this vert, and then we can just do like this. And then we can just make this a bit more equal. You generally want equal size with polygons. Okay, let's focus more on the eyes here. So now we have some generally good loops around it here, but we need to focus specifically on the eyes. They can be a bit tricky to get right, so make sure you take your sweet time with this. So just making sure the loops around there are good. Now we can always add more loops here. Like this is not like the final loop layout at all. Like we're definitely gonna be adding more geometry throughout this entire thing. It's just so that it's just a little bit cleaner. So alt click here, hit the E key. Then we hit, you can use right mouse button to cancel it. Then we can hit S to just scale it down. And now I really want this to be more transparent because otherwise I can't see a thing. And then I'm just going to focus on one at a time, one vertex at a time. And I'm going to do it on the outer part of the eyelid like so. And then we'll do the whole eyelid as a separate extrusion. This just goes from general to specific, like everything we do. What's important is that you make all of them go to the outside. What I've done sometimes accidentally is that some go on the inside, some go on the outside, and that's just really annoying. Okay, and then we can go into edge mode again, alt click, and then hit the E key to extrude, right mouse button, and then we can hit S. Now this here is to create the actual ridge of the eyelids, like this. As long as your shape is right, we can always unify the topology a bit more. This is really just so we can get the shape right. It's also beneficial to have a bit higher res of a decimated version. I just don't want to risk it because the video recording, everything was a bit slowed down. But I would definitely go a bit higher than this normally. Okay, so we're getting in an okay spot with the face now. Let's take the alpha all the way back up so we can see what's going on. And one thing here is we need to move these back a little bit like so. So it just fits a bit better with lip. Then we can take we can shape the lip a little as well. I prefer to not extrude this because this is not a perfect extrusion. This is like a half circle because we're only doing one side. So it's just a bit easier to do one at a time here for me now. So like before, select this one, hit the F key, and just block it out like so. Because the thing is, you have to shape each vertex anyway. You might as well just do each vertex at one time. This is where it is handy to have both sides because it can be hard to see what's going on here. It's really nice to have two views on it at the same time. Then we can just start to shape it a little bit up. Then we can add another loop here, so we can easily connect the ear up like so. And then we're going to make this loop here connect like so. So in this case, we can select the whole thing. If you want to select the range, you can hit Control, select this one, and Control and left mouse button on it, on the edge. We can just hit the E key to get her up. In this case, it's all unified, so we can do it in one operation. We don't have to do it one by one like we did around the mouth. And for every operation here, there are 10 different ways of doing it. Like if you're screaming at the screen now saying I should do it in a different way, well, there are many ways of doing it. So do it. If you have a better way of actually blocking out the topology, you know, be my guest. That's absolutely fair game. So I'm just trying to make this conform a little bit to the skull shape like this. Just connecting these guys up like so. Adding a bit more resolution here. And then we can do the same thing here as well. Just control and click the edge, hit the E key, and we can just extrude it out. And now we have to scale down this a little bit like so. Just remember to connect everything up like so, and also remember to save. So this here is starting to become like a bit of a puzzle to solve. Like that's retopology for you. If you're not seeing the solutions right away, that's fine. Retopo is just a puzzle, and sometimes you just have to think about it for some time. Sometimes it's a really enjoyable puzzle. Like you can just sit down and just enjoy some podcasts and figure it out. And other times it's the most frustrating thing in the world. So I'm just trying to see patterns here. How can we block this out here? And then we can easily connect something up. Do this, click here. And once we have one, we can connect the other ones up, like so. Then for this kind of loop, you can use the set flow tool, which is just really handy. It just means everything just flows a bit nicer. So I highly recommend going around with this once in a while. You can also select everything here. You can hit Control and plus, and we can go to vertex, and we can do smooth vertices. And then everything just smooths out a little bit, like so. And like we said before, you can easily add this to your quick favorites, and you can just do smooth verts, and there we go. Just smooths out a little bit. So already now you can see that it's almost there, like in terms of the blocking. We definitely need refinement on every single level, and we haven't done the ears yet or anything like that, but it's pretty quick once you get into it. Once you understand retopology, like once you get an intuitive understanding of it, it's pretty simple to do. It just takes time. It's just manual labor. Okay, then we can just extrude this out, and I just want to find a flow off the back of the ear like so. I'm gonna try to just make this flow nicely into the neck. Like so. So now we have a loop which goes like this. And here, instead of actually doing like this, it might be better if we just use the knife tool here, and then just cut her open like so. Hit the space bar, and there we go. We can delete this one guy now. And I'm just going to leave some of these here until we do the ear, because we can definitely redirect some of them to the back of the ear. If you remember the example of where we're simplifying, or we're combining a low res into a high res, we will definitely have areas here. And then it's nice to have some n-gons. So we can just redirect this into the back of the ear once the time comes for that. Then we can move this out like so. I find that when I'm doing curved surfaces like this, it's better to do one at a time, just because it just gives me more control. Remember, slow is fast. Yes, you could have saved 15 seconds by doing it in some automatic way, but it's not faster long term. try this as well. Now we can do it the other way, where we can extrude them out like so, and then you can scale them up a little bit. You know, honestly, it just depends on your preference. We can select this guy, hit the G twice just to move it down, then we can merge these two together. Then we can add a loop here as well, and we can extrude this down. So scale up a little bit just so it fits. Then we can do this. So let's actually delete this loop here. It just simplifies it a little bit. So delete this guy. Do the same thing here. Extrude out. Scale up a little bit. Sorry, now it's extruded. And we can scale down. I tried to do it in 2 operations, which you clearly shouldn't do. So move this down like so. This here is not the ultimate neck topology, but considering this guy literally doesn't have a body, what we're doing now is totally fine. Extrude, then scale up, then we can move it a little bit. So same tools over and over and over again. If something goes a bit crazy like this, we can always delete it, and then we can just put it back in its place. Don't be too attached to it. That's honestly the best way I've found to do topology. When something just goes crazy, straight up just delete it. It takes less time to redo it than it takes to figure out what's wrong. So now we can start to fill this in as well. And in this case, we can add another loop going down here as well, like so. We can just fill it in like so. And then we can do the set edge flow for it. So now you can see it's just being spaced nicely outwards. Like this, set flow. Set flow. And do the same with these as well. Yeah, so let's just leave these until we're done the back of the ear. What you can do, you can select the circle or the inner part here, and then we can just hit the F key, and then at least we've filled it in. Like this is an N-gon, terrible topology, cannot leave it like this, but will come in handy later on. And we'll do the ear as a separate video, just because the ears are they're just tricky, even with this kind of simple ear. So yeah, that's it for this video. We've now blocked in the vast majority of the shapes. In the next one, we will start to refine the shapes a bit more, and we'll also do the ear as well.